What do I want? What do I want for dinner? Maybe I'll order Chinese food. All right, party time.
What's in the box? What's in the box? This was in the box. Not bad. On this week's episode of As You Eat It, we're going to take inspiration from that dinner box and really kind of go with the flow and get creative with it. We're going to toss the recipes and kind of see where it leads us. I was feeling Chinese takeout before, and I think we can manage something out of there. Today we're going to make shrimp toast, some char siu pork and vegetable lo mein, and sesame green beans. Yum. There are a lot of moving parts and components to this meal, so prep is going to be essential. First things first, let's marinate that pork. For our char siu marinade, we're going to start with a tablespoon of cinnamon, followed by a tablespoon of ginger. We're actually making our own homemade Chinese 5-spice powder. Half a teaspoon of cloves go in, followed by some fennel seed. This is going to give a nice warm, heady kind of aroma flavor. It's about a tablespoon or so. Next up, we're going to go with a teaspoon of white pepper, a pinch of salt, some onion powder, and garlic powder. For our liquids, we're going in with a tablespoon of sesame oil, followed by a tablespoon of soy sauce, a little bit of mirin, about a teaspoon, and some hot chili oil, also a teaspoon. Really dig down deep and get the ginger bits and the garlic and chilies. About a teaspoon of honey to balance that out, and a star anise pod. That's going to give you a nice licoricey flavor to this and complete the 5-spice. Now the secret to making red pork, red food coloring. Give that a stir. Check out that color. You can certainly use beet juice if you want, but I find it changes the flavor slightly, so stick with the food coloring. We have 2 5-ounce pork tenderloins here, and we're going to cut them down into 1-inch pieces. Pop them here into our Ziploc bag. And then add in our marinade. Get every little last drop, including the star anise pod. Seal it up and really rub it in. Marinate overnight. We have our broiler pan here with our cooling rack. It's lined with foil and about 1/4 cup of water. And we're going to pop our sliced pork here. And we're going to roast it at 425 for a half hour. Set aside to cool. We're going to use it later in our lo mein. Who was your favorite Golden Girl? I was always partial to Blanche. In order to cut down our cook time and preserve the color of our thicker cut vegetables, we're going to blanch and shock them. Add about 6 cups of water to your pot and bring to a simmer while we deal with the vegetables. We're going to cut down this broccoli crown into florets. We're going to go in at an angle and cut it down. Very nice. We have 1 pound of green beans here. We're just going to trim the ends off. Okay, turn, spin. Peel 1 carrot. Cut the ends off. We're going to go in on a diagonal or bias cut. Very nice. Gives you a nice surface area, and it's a cute cut. I like it. Drive through with your shoulder, watch your fingers. Same thing with our celery here. We're just going to cut down an angle and on the bias. A little salt in the water, and we're almost ready to blanch. The broccoli goes in first, 30 seconds to a minute. Drain it off. And into the ice water to shock it to preserve the color and to stop the cooking process. Next up, our green beans go in. And the green beans come out 30 seconds later. Drain it off. Into the water. Put your veggies in, you take your veggies out, then you shake them all. It's like hokey pokey, guys. We're going to put in our carrots and our celery, 30 seconds later, and in they go. Let's make a toast. Shrimp toast, that is. First, let's make the dipping sauce for our shrimp appetizer. We have a 4-ounce package of Thai sweet chili sauce, followed by about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, and I just had to share this little container that it came in from Dinner Elite. It's a little fish. Next up, a little rice vinegar, just a splash, just a touch, maybe about a teaspoon, and then the juice of 1 lime. Give it a nice little stir, check for viscosity and consistency, and taste, of course. Transfer your container, our little dipping bowl, and set aside. To make the seafood paste, we have 1 pound of bay scallops and half a pound of peeled and deveined shrimp. We're going to add in 1 chopped scallion, and it doesn't have to be super consistent here, guys, since we're going to put it through the food processor. 1 clove of garlic, we're going to peel that off, give it a rough chop, and about 2-inch knob of ginger. This is one way to peel the ginger with a spoon. I'll show you another way later. We're going to trim it down, both sides. Nice little slice, and chop it down, and finer it goes. Ginger can be kind of fibrous, so we want it as small as we can get it when it goes into the food processor. To bind the paste, we're going to use 1 egg white, so we have an extreme close-up of the clean hand method. Use the yolk for a custard or something. Next up, about a teaspoon of soy sauce, followed by a tablespoon of cornstarch. Goes right in. Lid it up, give it a buzz. Transfer to a container, add the work bowl, check for consistency. For our shrimp toast, we're going to start by cutting 1 loaf of Pullman bread. You certainly can use white sandwich bread for this, but definitely get something with a little bit of integrity to it. Trim off the crusts and discard the ends. Spray our non-stick on our sheet pan here, then put down our bread. We're going to bake this instead of fry it, but you certainly can fry it as well. Next up, we're going to spread our paste onto our bread nice and evenly using an offset spatula. A little bit of sesame seeds on top. Then bake at 425 for 15 minutes and then broil for 2 minutes. Set those aside to cool for a second. Cut them on the bias to serve. Now I have a lot of that paste left over, so I'm going to show you an alternate way of making them using 10-inch flour tortillas. I'm going to put our seafood paste on, and using our offset spatula, we're going to spread it nice and evenly. Very nice. Then we're going to roll it up towards me because I want that seam on the bottom before slicing down. Cool. Now bake these at 425 for 15 minutes and then broil for 2 just to get nice and golden brown. Stack them up on the side here. Garnish with some scallion greens and let's eat. Time for the lo mein event. Fill your stock pot about 3/4 of the way up with water and then pop it on your burner, lid it up and bring it to a boil. Give your noodle water a head start so that everything will come off at the same time, perfectly cooked. Pop a skillet on your burner over medium, and let's get to work on chopping our veg. We're going to go with 2 scallions here. This we need to be a little bit more precise about since we're not running it through a food processor. 3 cloves of garlic. Using the cleaver to kind of loosen up that skin there, pop it out. Very nice. We're just going to trim our ginger down here using our cleaver. Nice slices, and then into the matchsticks. 1 whole jalapeno, seeds and all. I want it a little spicy. About a tablespoon of sesame oil, followed by our aromatics. Give it a stir, and a 4-ounce bag of frozen edamame, followed by our Asian avocado slaw kit. Has 3 different kinds of cabbages, cauliflower, and kale. Just use the vegetables, not the additional accoutrement. I'm just going to fold that in, give it a stir, warm it through. 4 ounces of snow peas. Oh, whoops. Sorry. Did I just apologize to snow peas? Anyway, we're just going to keep folding and stirring. 1 can of water chestnuts, drain please. If you get the whole water chestnuts, you do need to slice them. Stir to combine. It's a lot of stirring, guys. It's a stir fry after all. Want to season our pasta water here, our noodle water. Next up, our blanched broccoli, carrots, and celery. Stir those in, fold those in. Time to drop our noodles. Just lay them in gently. Boil for about 4 to 5 minutes. Now we're going to slice up our char siu pork. Some more manageable bite-sized pieces. Those go in. And we're going to heat those through. Keep stirring. Time to season up with a little bit of mirin and some soy sauce, all to taste. Drain off your noodles, those go in, give it a toss, break up any big clumps if there are any, and really fold those vegetables through. Add a little bit of water to kind of deglaze and coat. Remove and plate. Look at that steam coming off there. That looks delicious. Very nice. Make sure you get everything out of there. That's the good stuff right there. All right. Dinner time. Time to make the green beans. Heat your skillet over medium, then add a tablespoon of sesame oil to the pan, followed by your reserved scallion, ginger, and garlic. We want to saute this up for about 3 minutes or so, just to release the oils and aromas. We don't want it to brown. Next up, add a teaspoon of orange apricot marmalade. It's going to give a nice little duck saucy kind of vibe to this, a little bitter, a little sweet, some nice viscosity. You can use duck sauce if you have it. Add in your blanched green beans and whatever liquid's in there. That'll help loosen up the marmalade. Next up, about a teaspoon of soy sauce, followed by the zest and juice of 1 navel orange. If any of the pulp gets in there, that's okay. It's going to give you a nice little pop of surprise. Very nice. Keep stirring, keep it moving. You'll notice it's starting to caramelize a little bit. That's good. That's what we want. What's really important is that it doesn't burn. Next up, we're going to add in about a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons of sesame seeds. Coat that. Let the seeds toast up. Very nice. Transfer to a bowl, and let's eat. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching the video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. As always, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram, same name as you eat it. Follow me on Facebook, same name as you eat it. Come see me live at Williams-Sonoma or Bloomingdale's. Follow my Instagram to get my schedule. If you'd like to be an executive producer of As You Eat It, follow me on Patreon. The link is below, patreon.com/asyoueatit. And as always, cook how you want to cook, eat how you want to eat. Think outside the box how you want to think outside the box. Eat as you eat it. Have a good one. See you next time.